Hi, I'm Michael, and I am the only thing standing between you and your lunch. So to make this experience a little more excruciating, I want to ask you a few questions. How many of you are tweeting? How many of you are Instagramming? Check it out on Foursquare, Facebook, blog, all that great stuff. Well, we all are, of course, but we're at the launch festival. Now, social media has changed the way we communicate. That's why we do all this. It's so much to the point that we come to events and we share even more. Over 60% of all photos that are taken are now shared online, but there's no one place to see it all. It's so fragmented. There are 6,000 people of you here, 3 days, 7 different apps or more, one fragmented experience. So if there was one place to use it all, see it all, would you do it? Of course. And that's what Epilogger is. We're launching our iPhone app here at the launch conference. And it's all everything, the whole app, the whole event, for everybody in one place, no matter who you are, what social network you're on. Now this is Sam. Sam is just like you. He's doing all those great things with social networks, but he wants to engage with the event in one central app in one place. So he pulls up Epilogger, looks for the launch festival, and right away he's shown a full chronological feed of all the content, regardless of what social network is shared for him, from right in the one app. Fully shareable, fully interactive, fully searchable. Now he's a bit of more of a visual learner, so he hits the photo button. Right away you get the photo grid. You can scroll through it or you can flick through, just kind of browse around. And when he clicks a picture, you can even see the full conversation of everyone who had talked about that piece of content. Go ahead and click that. There you go. And if he taps the photo, you can either share it or on Twitter, or on Facebook, even though it came from a different network, or save it to his memory box for later on viewing. Now Sam has also heard that Robert Scoble has been running around the conference for the last few days, and he wants to find out what happened with Robert Scoble, who's mentioned him, what he's been saying. But he doesn't want to sort through 7,000 plus pieces of information. So he just pulls down, searches for Scoble or Scobleizer, and Epilogger will filter everything out and only to bring back the Scoble awesomeness, regardless of what social network he happens to be using this week. And of course, you can say that again. It does it easily, simply, and beautifully. Now, he's also watching this presentation like you are, and he wants to contribute his own content. So all he does is touch one of the contribution buttons at the bottom, and you can add a photo, some text, the hashtag's all taken care of, and you can simultaneously publish across different social networks. And here you go, Sam, taking a picture of you lovely people right now with all the phone glare. Yes. Now we can also just check it on Foursquare. Really simply, it doesn't use GPS. We know the venue already, so it checks it on Foursquare. And of course, if he wants to find the event easily in the app later on, he subscribes to the event by pressing the follow button at the bottom. And that's great. I mean, there it is, simple as that. Now, let's talk about Lisa. So Lisa is the fictional producer of Launch, even though we know Jason is. And she wants to get all the stats and all the information on the go easily. So all she does is hit the info button top right of the app. And Epilogger gives her the quick numbers. Basically, how many people have tweeted, how many people have shared something, how many unique people there are here, and the check-ins, and also who is here, which you can see at the bottom. And from that, next question you might ask is, well, I want to know who is the most engaged at this conference, and what are the top pieces of content by virtue of the shares and the likes. And Epilogger just lets you do that in one click, and it's also fully interactive with the rest of the app. And if he scrolls down, you can see all the different replies to that piece of content for everybody who might have talked about it in some way. Now she's also a moderator, and she might get some things that might be of questionable content, as you can see at the top. So Epilogger has a connected web app rather, that is made for the event producers, for advertising agencies, and for concert promoters. So she can moderate out questionable content pretty instantly. It's gone from the full feed because, as we know, since everyone's in the app, everyone's attention is based in one place. She can even produce instant infographics and reports for her sponsors who want to get an idea of what their bang for the buck was in ROI. But she can even go one step further and show them a fully, instantly customized and branded version of the feed of everything that you just saw in Epilogger that can go on for big screens, just like this one. And that took 2 minutes to make, not even. So people are now just loving what we're doing. And so much to the fact that we have some great clients and some test clients who have come with us. And we're announcing today that we just secured a distribution deal with Major League Hockey. That excites me as a Canadian, so it's one of those things. Any Canadians in the room? Okay. So the app launches right now. You can get it in the store right before lunch. At Epilogger, we're here to expand. We're here to get the right partners and clients on board and some investors who make us really big. Get us at founders@epilogger.com.
Steven, sorry, Jason, you're the potential client here, right? What do you think?
Every event I get contacted by 25 different people who want us to build their brand off of the backs of our conference. In other words, we're going to get you to pay us to promote our brand name at your conference. And I always say, well, it kind of works the other way. If you want to reach our 5,800 people, then you need to help us pick some apples, not just eat the pie. So I feel like it's a non-starter for me to use one of theirs. That's why we built our own. We can afford to build our own. We pay source bid $0.0. We have a sponsor for that. But generally, I feel like I want somebody to give us an event product that we can white label. And that we can, so I love the idea of putting all the streams in one place and having my social media coordinator, Kate Gardner over here, who's amazing. If you need one, I'll give you her contact info. She's extraordinary. But when Kate does what she does, it would be great if it was all in one place under my name, the launch conference. I don't want to promote Epilogger. I want a dedicated app, and I would actually pay, $1,000 or $500 for you to wrap what you're doing and give me 100% control over it. I don't want to support a third-party event.
So just
a third-party app.
So we actually do that. We have done it, and some of the clients we have actually asked for that very popular. So we had an example was the C2 conference in Montreal. We invited Ariana.
How much?
We gave them free last year. This time they're going to give us money this year. So we charged them about $8,000 to do it because they have a full solution and they were happy to do it.
Yeah, see, I think I would pivot the entire business around just we make the best app for your conference, and it's much more affordable than $8,000. Or it can be based on attendees. You have 1,500 people. It's 10 cents an attendee or 25 cents an attendee.
There's two things to that. I mean, one thing is that the thing about conference apps is that the only problem you find is that after the conference is over, people tend to delete the app. The idea about Epilogger is an app for everything that you're doing and everyone's doing. So you don't delete the app because there's more stuff coming back to you, being served back based on your interests and different communities being. So the other great thing is we save all this content even after it's sunsetted by everyone else. So next year when you do this again, you have a great lead up to the conference.
Yeah.
We did this for C2, and they actually embedded our app under their name and everything into their mobile app. Now the capacity of the conference was 1,200 people, but we actually gave them 5,000 unique hits above and beyond that every single day because people just saw this thing. They're like, holy crap.
It's basically you're right in that space where it's like you've either got to provide us with a tremendously awesome service we're willing to pay for, or you have so much traffic and you have so much scale like YouTube that we're willing to give away a lot of the branding and customization to YouTube. Like we're putting our videos on YouTube, not our site, because we know we'll get caught up in the YouTube huge tidal wave. But you don't have a tidal wave, so therefore we're not going to help you build your tidal wave for you. That's sort of the way I look at it.
But that's basically the issue is that it's actually pretty well done as a product. Michael and I sort of met previously. The issue is from an economic standpoint, either you get so much scale that it's valuable, but to get to scale is a big issue because what's the trigger to get you to download, Epilogger, or you actually try and get the conference organizers to pay you, and there's just no budget, there's just no margin. Maybe 10 cents an attendee, it's not enough to build a big company.
See, I think the reason why Naval has, and I've learned a lot from Naval's thinking, is Naval is very integrated into this event because he asks for nothing and he provides everything, and then at some point he's going to make money off of like job listings at some point. But we feel like, if you send people to, if I mention Angel List and they send people to it, like there's a great list of all the startups here on Angel List that you made where people can vote it up and down. I think it's angel.co/launch.
Launch 2013. Yeah,
/launch 2013.
Launch 2013.
So it's got all the companies here. It's probably a better experience on our own site. But I don't mind mentioning because I'm not paying him and he's got the, things. What I would suggest is you should give it away for free for 2 or 3 years like Naval's done and, customize it for us, give us our own while you're building your own dedicated brand. Do both models.
It's actually working for us, so you're right. We have some the bigger clients we've gotten at the outset, so they just tell us, like November, for example, was a big one. For the first year, they didn't know us, they just wanted to see what's up, so we gave them everything, and then they came back and were so dependent upon it for the second year that it became a client.
And then they'll say, yeah, we want to pay you. Like, make it absolutely free, which is, by the way, my strategy here. Like, I have like 25 people here from major tech companies who are like, oh, we didn't have the time to sponsor the event. And I say, great, come as my guest. And so there's somebody from HP here or Cisco, and then they're going to be like, oh, wow, our name's not on the screen, and everybody else is having a great time, and we want to be a judge, and then maybe they'll cut a check next year, right? So it's like give away, give away, give away until you hit scale, and they can't ignore you, which is like what I learned from Naval and why this event's so big this year is Naval told me, go for scale.
Okay.
I would say selling to conferences and events is kind of a loser strategy. There's so many companies out there trying to sell so many things to events and conferences that relative to the size of the market is quite saturated. And then on the aggregation side, you're only aggregating about 3 or 4 services, which doesn't provide a ton of value. It's usually better as an aggregator or marketplace if you're aggregating hundreds or thousands of services. So I think your model, and I don't know the right answer, but it's probably more the direction of an Eventbrite, where you, which we talked about earlier today as a big success case, where you define an event very broadly and you create a use case where people pull you rather than you having to push them. Eventbrite is pretty simple. It's like, I need ticketing, everybody needs ticketing, what's the best solution? They pull, and then all kinds of people pull from very small one-off events to very large ongoing events. I think if you just target conferences, it's too narrow. If you don't have a pull model, your cost of sales is too high, and if you're only aggregating 3 or 4 services, it's not enough value. There may be something in the space, but you got a lot of carving out to do.
So so conference is not our main target. We use that just because we're up
Sure,
there.
great, that makes sense.
People have been paying us as not so much being conference, it's actually been advertising and marketing agencies who want to do a campaign that's much bigger than a conference. If you consider for the fact that there's 5,800 people here, they know they're here. Like, it's not anything new, but there are many more people watching it from elsewhere who would like to just get the one feed. David Clark.
People paying you?
Pardon?
Do you have people paying you?
We do.
Okay, so don't let us drive the conversation and tell you that you don't have a business model. If you have customers paying you, fight back, grab the mic and say, there are people paying us, here's the model, you're fucking wrong. And tell us why you're right. And I would actually slightly disagree with Naval, and I would say go more narrow, because I think the model that this could work for is something that's high transaction events where there's high value in this stuff. So like weddings would possibly work. I actually know a couple companies that are trying to do this for weddings. There are other sort of high value events. We have a company that's doing live video and constructing them together for live events. And the business model may be challenging, but if you think it's for real and you're doing it, don't let the panel sort of brand your message as we don't have a business model. Fight the fuck back and tell us why we're wrong.
So the app is the consumer piece. Thank you. I love this one. So the app is the consumer piece. We want to make sure people are using the app, and that's always going to be free. Right? So if you're centralizing everyone's attention to one place, that becomes the push or the pull, or the pull rather. So if everyone's just using this as much more convenient, they can just go, this is the one place that finds it all. From there we can have the interest of the conferences or the, whatever it might be. One particular client, type of client has been comic conventions. Really love Epilogger because it's such a high content sort of business. People just love seeing their little, Princess Leia costumes and their
Comic-Con is a client.
yeah, so we're going to be working on those guys.
Okay. Awesome. One other approach might be, when a Comic-Con comes out, or the Oscars come out, or South by comes out, everybody's going to the store and searching for Comic-Con in the App Store. Have you thought about doing like Comic-Con unauthorized app by Epilogger to sort of seduce people into the product?
Yeah, so one of our good friends, Saul Gold, is a good word-of-mouth guy, and he says that we should do that, basically launch sort of different versions of Epilogger to feed the main one that are made specifically for those verticals that we're after. So like Epilogger for Comic-Cons, Epilogger for, we're doing hockey now, hockey, so yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Let's hear it for Epilogger. Well done. All right. This has been great to see the interaction between judges and conflicting advice.